Have you ever noticed how much of your life is secretly shaped by other people's opinions? One comment can make your day, and another can ruin it completely. It's almost like we hand out little remote controls to everyone around us and let them change how we feel with the push of a button. Exhausting, right? But here's the thing: Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher who founded Taoism, believed that life doesn't have to be this complicated. He wrote a little book called the Tao Te Ching. On the surface, it's simple, short verses, just a few words at a time. But each verse holds wisdom that can change the way we live. The heart of Taoism is this: life already has a natural flow. It's called the Tao, or the way. Look at nature and you'll see it everywhere. Seasons change without being told to. Rivers carve their paths toward the sea without ever needing a GPS. Trees stretch toward the sunlight without asking anyone's permission. There's no stress, no forcing, just flow. And yet, we humans? We're the only ones who keep fighting against our own nature. We bend ourselves into shapes we don't belong in. We swallow our words to fit in. We dress for someone else's approval. We choose careers that look good on paper, but leave us empty inside. Somewhere along the way, we forget how to simply be ourselves. Lao Tzu offers another way. A way of moving through life so lightly that the opinions of others pass over you like clouds drifting across the sky. In this video, we're going to walk through his philosophy on how to stop caring what people think and return to living from your own center. And trust me, by the time you get to the end, you'll see that freedom isn't found in winning approval. It's found in letting go of the need for it. Follow your own Tao. Let's start with the first lesson, following your own Tao. What does that even mean? It means living in a way that feels natural to you. Not twisted by what others expect. Not shaped to win applause, just honest. Simple living. Think about a tree for a second. A tree doesn't twist itself into a pretzel because someone thinks it should look different. It doesn't ask the forest for approval before sprouting new branches. It grows the way its roots allow it to grow steady, patient, in its own direction. But we're often like trees trying to twist into shapes just to impress the forest. We bend to fit trends, to avoid judgment, to win love or respect. And in the process, we lose our own roots. Lao Tzu once wrote, "Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner." That's a bold statement, but think about it. The moment you depend on someone else's approval to feel good about yourself, you've given them the keys to your peace of mind. A single compliment can send you soaring, and a single criticism can crush you. Doesn't that feel like being a prisoner? When you follow your own Tao, you break free from that. It doesn't mean ignoring everyone or becoming selfish. It means you check in with yourself first. You ask, does this feel right for me? And if the answer is yes, you move forward whether people clap for you or not. That might look like saying no to a job that pays well but eats away at your soul. It might mean wearing the clothes you actually love, even if they're not in style. It might mean choosing a quiet night alone when everyone else is partying. Every time you notice yourself shrinking or softening just to fit in, pause. Ask yourself, if no one else had a say in this, what would I do? The more you practice that, the more natural it feels. Slowly, the weight of approval starts to fall away. You begin making decisions with confidence. You stop waiting for likes, claps, or nods from others. And one day, you realize you've reclaimed something you didn't even know you lost: the freedom to live your own life. Let go of striving for reputation. Here's the next step. If you truly want to stop caring about what people think, you've got to stop guarding your reputation like it's a fragile glass vase. We all want to be seen in a good light. We want to be thought of as smart, successful, interesting. But Lao Tzu warns us that if your life is built around protecting an image, you'll never find peace. Why? Because that image is always in other people's hands. One rumor, one mistake, one whisper, and it can shatter. Think about water. Water doesn't try to look important, yet it nourishes everything it touches. It doesn't demand attention, yet it wears down mountains over time. It flows into the low places, the spaces no one else wants, and still nothing can resist it. That's Lao Tzu's point. You don't need to look impressive to live a meaningful life. When you stop performing for reputation, you become like water, steady, calm, and impossible to defeat in the long run. The truth is, reputation is a game we've been trained to play since childhood. Grades, trophies, promotions, followers, the scoreboard never ends. And even when you win, the game resets. There's always another comparison waiting around the corner. Lao Tzu said, "When you are content to be simply yourself, and don't compare or compete, everyone will respect you." Isn't that ironic? The respect we chase so hard usually shows up only when we stop chasing it. Because here's the thing people can feel when you're at ease in your own skin. They notice when you stop acting for approval. And that kind of authenticity? It commands more respect than any performance ever could. So what does letting go of reputation look like in real life? Maybe it's turning down a prestigious opportunity that doesn't fit your nature. Maybe it's speaking honestly in a room, even if your words don't make you popular. When you let go of reputation, you stop being a tree that sways with every passing wind. You become like one with deep roots, grounded, stable, unshaken by what others say. At the end of the day, the respect that matters most isn't in anyone else's eyes. It's the quiet respect you feel when you know you've been true to yourself. Accept that others' minds are their own Tao. Here's another truth that sounds simple, but changes everything. You can't control what other people think. It's like trying to control the wind. You can push against it, beg it, fight it, but the wind will blow where it wants. And the harder you push, the more exhausted you get. Lao Tzu put it beautifully. The world is won by those who let it be. Other people's opinions come from their own experiences, fears, and perspectives. Just like your path is yours, their path is theirs. The problem is, we spend so much energy trying to manage how others see us. We explain ourselves endlessly, hoping to be understood. We perform, hoping to be liked. But it never works. It's like planting bamboo and expecting it to grow into an oak tree. People are who they are. Some will get you, some won't, and that's okay. The moment you stop trying to control their opinions, life gets lighter. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head. You stop reshaping yourself for approval. You stop fearing tomorrow's judgment and finally start living today. Think of a river. The river doesn't argue with the rocks in its way. It doesn't try to convince the rocks to move. It simply flows around them steady, patient, unstoppable. That's how you can live too. Accept that people will think what they think. Their judgments are their story, not yours. And once you see that, you're free. We've already seen that following your own Tao, letting go of reputation, and accepting that other people's opinions are their own business can free you in powerful ways. But Lao Tzu didn't stop there. He gave us an even deeper teaching, one that shows us how to live with less force and more flow. And that brings us to his famous idea of Wu Wei. Practice, wei. Now, Wu Wei is one of those phrases that sounds mysterious until you really get what it means. It's often translated as effortless action, but don't confuse that with laziness. Wu Wei isn't about sitting around doing nothing. It's about living without forcing, without pretending, without twisting yourself just to please other people. Think about how much energy you spend trying to push life into the shape you want. You push conversations so people see you the way you want to be seen. You push your career to look successful in the eyes of society. You push yourself into roles that don't fit, standards you never chose, and images you secretly hate. And here's the truth, that constant pushing is exhausting. It's like trying to row a boat upstream against a powerful current. You sweat, you strain, you tire yourself out, and even then you barely move. Wu Wei is about putting down the oars and working with the current. You still steer, but instead of fighting the water, you adjust your sails, and suddenly you glide. Life carries you forward without the constant struggle. Lao Tzu put it this way: the sage does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. That doesn't mean life magically handles itself. It means when you stop forcing, you find the natural rhythm of things. You begin to act from your real self instead of acting for an audience. Think of it like dancing. If you're too worried about the steps, you stumble. But if you let yourself feel the music, your body moves naturally. That's Wu Wei. In everyday life, Wu Wei might look like pausing before you answer a question. So your words come from honesty, not from trying to impress. It might mean letting go of an argument instead of forcing yourself to win. It might mean starting a project because it excites you, not because it will earn praise. When you live this way, you free up energy. You think more clearly because your mind is entangled in other people's opinions. You create more easily because you're not locked in by expectations. And you connect more deeply because people can feel when you're being real, and that's what builds trust. So ask yourself, where am I forcing life to fit an image? And what would happen if I stopped forcing and let things flow instead? Reflect on your day. Here's another practice Lao Tzu would approve of: reflection. Not in some heavy, guilt-filled way, but in a light, curious way. At the end of your day, take a few minutes to look back. Where did you shrink yourself to fit someone else's approval? Did you laugh at a joke you didn't find funny just to blend in? Did you hold back your real opinion to avoid conflict? Did you post something online because you wanted likes instead of because it mattered to you? Don't judge yourself. Just notice. Awareness is like flipping on a light switch in a dark room. You can finally see what's there. And once you see, you can choose differently. One simple way to do this is by journaling. Ask yourself, if no one was watching, what would I still choose to do? Write down whatever comes up without filtering. Over time, patterns appear. You'll see where you've been living for applause instead of truth. Another way is to step outside in the evening for a short walk. Let the noise of the day settle. Notice the trees, the breeze, the rhythm of nature. Lao Tzu wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Look at the trees, they're not asking the forest, "Do I look okay?" They don't compare branches. They just grow. And they keep growing, quietly, season after season. That's the lesson reflection brings. The more you notice the subtle ways you bend for approval, the easier it becomes to stop. Day by day, you take back the steering wheel of your own life. Return to stillness. One of Lao Tzu's most powerful teachings is about stillness. He often compared the mind to water. When the water is muddy, you can't see anything clearly. But if you let it sit, the mud settles, and the water becomes clear again. He asked, "Who can be still until the mud settles and the water is clear?" Stillness is about coming back to that calm space inside you, the space that exists before the noise of the world, before the opinions, before the pressure. That part of you is already whole. You don't need to fix it. You just need to return to it. In practice, this can be simple. Sit under a tree. Take a slow walk without your phone. Close your eyes for 2 minutes and follow your breath. The point isn't to shut the world out. It's to hear yourself again beneath the noise. And here's what you'll notice when you come back to stillness. The things you thought were so heavy, the judgments, the comparisons, the doubts, they lose their grip. They're just ripples on the surface. Underneath it all, you're steady. The best times for stillness are the moments when you feel pulled in too many directions. Right before the day begins. after a tense conversation, in the middle of a stressful commute, or before you step into something that makes you nervous. Try tying it to simple daily rituals: having tea, sitting in your car before you head inside, stepping outside for a breath of air. And when you pause, resist the urge to grab your phone. Just breathe. Just be. The more you practice this, the stronger your center becomes. And the stronger your center, the less other people's opinions can shake you. Because here's the secret: when the mud settles, the truth always appears. Act without seeking reward. Most of us are trained to act with one eye on the scoreboard. We do good work and then wait for the praise. We help a friend and secretly hope for a thank you. We post something online and check the likes every 5 minutes. But Lao Tzu taught that when your actions depend on recognition, your happiness is fragile. Because what happens if the praise doesn't come? What if the thank you never arrives? What if the likes are lower than you hoped? Suddenly, the joy of the action itself disappears. In Taoism, the highest way is to act from your nature, to do something because it feels right, not because it will earn applause. The reward is in the doing itself. Think about a tree again. In spring, it blooms. In summer, it gives shade. In autumn, it drops its fruit. In winter, it rests. But never once does it stop to ask, "Will the forest notice me?" It simply follows its rhythm, season after season. That's the way of the Tao. When you live like this, you stop being trapped by the question, "Will they like this?" Instead, you ask, "Does this feel true to me?" And that shift changes everything. In daily life, acting without seeking reward might look like helping a neighbor move without posting about it online. It might mean doing your best at work, not because it will win you a promotion, but because the work itself matters to you. It might mean creating art, music, or stories purely because the process lights you up, whether anyone else ever sees it or not. Lao Tzu wrote, "When the work is done, forget it." That is why it lasts forever. When you act this way, you discover a joy that can't be taken away. Recognition may or may not come, but either way, your center stays steady. You plant your seeds, you tend your garden, and you let things grow without clinging to how it all turns out.